You know what? In the end of the day, what determines the platform's success and value is adoption rate and acceleration of adoption. And the only way that occurs is that they have done some development that solves an economic problem. I always say this about digital currencies and digital platforms. What problem are you solving? What are you doing that adds economic value? The thing to realize is the market is the market. No one person can manipulate it, even though people claim they can. It's millions of decisions being made every second in terms of what something is worth. And it applies to every market, whether it's tulips or watches or Bitcoin or real estate or gold. It's the same dynamics. When you have a large participation in the asset class and millions of people buy and sell it, the only thing I trust is the market price, because you can't say it's overvalued or undervalued. The market determines that for you. You can make a long-term bet that it will appreciate over time for various reasons. But when you start to say something is a bubble, you're effectively saying you're going to do some market timing, that you know something that everybody else doesn't know. And once in a while, you can be right. But over the long run, it's a fool's game and you can't win. And so my attitude about this is allocation and diversification. So if you tell me that Bitcoin is in a bubble and overvalued, you may be right, but it doesn't really matter to me in terms of allocating to Bitcoin. It's going to be allocated to because it is an asset that millions of people own, and its market price is being determined by the second, 24 hours a day. I happen to think it's an asset, not a currency. I like the software development underneath it. I think all the issues around ESG are going to get solved in the next couple of years, and it's going to be more efficiently mined. You can't know when it's a bubble. You simply can't. If you think you do, you're absolutely wrong. In the stock world, in the bond world, and the assets that have been around for hundreds of years, I have very simple rules that mandate how I own them. I never let one stock become more than 5% weighting in any portfolio, and I never let a sector, of which there are 11 sectors in the S&P, ever become more than 20%. Instead of, people say to me, why don't you just own Bitcoin, Ethereum? That's all you have to do. Everything's correlated to the price of those. I don't believe that to be true, first of all. And there's many other economic applications or softwares or level 1, level 2 blockchains that are very interesting to me that have nothing to do with Bitcoin that I want to invest in. So what I'm trying to do is build a portfolio. At some point might get to 20% of my operating company. Right now, it's just over 10.5%. But within that portfolio, there's no one token coin or chain that's more than 5% of that portfolio. And so, yes, I am actively adding and trimming based on volatility, and we've had lots of that in the last couple of weeks. And secondly, I'm doing a lot of staking. Most of my positions are now being staked, and I use the FTX platform for that. And I also hold a significant and material position in USDC because I am now starting to pay for assets in USDC and be paid for assets in USDC. So it's become another currency in my portfolio, and I stake that as well. And I'm working with Circle on that. I was one of the very first corporate accounts opened there. And I'm doing a lot of work with my regulators and with my accountants who have to sign my external quarterly reports. And so, one of the things people forget is crypto is so nascent, including all these other tokens, that you have a lot of work ahead of you in terms of being compliant. And I've certainly lived through that in the last 6 months.